What is going on, people? Welcome back. Episode 2 of the Dwarf Gold Hoarders. I appreciate the kind words. It seems like dwarves are as popular amongst you all as they are with myself. And regarding baby food in the medieval mods, probably you just need to set the tech level on the baby food things to medieval because they're probably set to industrial. It would be a pretty quick patch to write. I can make a note on that. Regardless, we start with a trader here, and they have some people for trade, some of which are decent. There's a decent dwarf and a decent ogre. The ogre is young and doesn't have a ton of skills, but we could totally train that ogre up to be good. So the only real problem is, in order to acquire these folks, we have to sell all of our gold. So I think it's worthwhile early game. We're going to sell our plasteel too. We're also going to buy some medicine. Still suffering from some gut issues. We're going to call Gold Home and Gold Rock as our faction and location names. And we do have 2 new people that have joined, Kaza the Dwarf and Rock Digger the Ogre. You're going to see I'm going to have some problems keeping an ogre fed this early in the game. I didn't consider the food requirements of an ogre when I took them on, but we will get things sorted out. We're going to make some bedrooms for them first off. We need to get moods stable, and one way to do that well and quick is by setting up proper bedrooms and making them decent bedrooms. It's going to take the better part of this episode, but I feel it's going to be worth it. So the Empire folks are leaving. That was an Empire recruit caravan. They did leave us some nice sapphires, which we can hopefully exchange for gold at some point. And it's at that point the Skavens show up. However, the humans are on the way out, so Skaven are going to have to deal with that. And you can see there's magic flying around. Some of these people do get dealt with in terms of sickness. I believe that Skaven just disappeared. I think he must have had a Skitterleap spell, potentially. Regardless, a lot of creatures to butcher. We have a lot of potential issues here. There will be a food poisoning problem that starts up. There's a dwarf here, but he's not very good. He's wild. We don't have the capacity to tame him at this point anyway. We do need more crops. We're going to push the outside fence out. And our goats continue to breed, as animals will in RimWorld. So Kaza is going to become the cook. Gotrik's on a mental break. Another trader shows up. This time it's ogres. And they do have a few ogres. They do have a couple dwarfs as well, but we simply can't afford them. I regret selling our only gold, but safe to say, at this stage of the game, we can recover from that. I'm going to buy some meds, sell all the textiles we've been hoarding. We need to get this place cleaned up. We need to get bedrooms done. We need to get a whole lot of smoothing finished. At this point, we're still working with sad little doors, not fancy dwarven doors, in part due to resource problems. The wild dwarf is lurking around. It's just a matter of time before we have to deal with him or some other critter deals with them. Our bear, at that point, gets into a fight. Actually, our Razorgore gets into a fight with a wild bear. And by the time we can make it over there and assist too much, the problem is dealt with. Those magic gleaming arrows are fantastic. That's the highest level of that spell. Therefore, it does the most damage, recovers quicker, and all those fun things. Now that we have some legitimate medicine, boom, the first tending takes away the gutworm, so that's good. Our bear attacks that wild dwarf and ends up eating the dude. Not a lot we could do about it. We couldn't save him. We didn't want him to join us. A chaos spawn decides to eat one of our goats, and we should probably do something about that at some point here. But the goats are expendable. So we're still working on getting to level 8 in construction so we can build the fancy dwarven dressers. Those will improve the look and feel of a room dramatically. And there's an eclipse on. And we finally finished researching passive cooler. A little late to make any difference, but should that occur again, we will be ready. Kaza spends a lot of time researching when there's no mining to do. We do have some critters out there we can claim. And with this ogre about, it certainly doesn't hurt us to bring in everything we can for food because ogres get very hungry. They do also eat most anything, but whatever we have around. So another razor gore kills one of our goats. The animal problems persist. I probably see some parallels between this playthrough and the last one. If you can't put up proper walls and keep your animals safe, you're going to have predators dealing with them, and that's just that. So we send our people out to take the chaos spawn down. We also decide at this point we're going to take that razor gore down. One good shot with a magic arrow, it does do a rather significant wound, and all we really got to do is wing it enough to injure it to where it will croak. And we're going to try and flee out of here before it gets to us. Our fence has been taken down, and Kaza's going to try and shoot it through the door. Fortunately, the wooden door closes fast. We get a situation where Gotrik's repairing it while the razor gore is attacking it, and then our own friendly razor gore decides to take it down and take some injuries in the process. It does lose his spiked club tail. However, it's fine. Another ogre trader shows up. Traders early game are just insanely prolific, apparently. And when you have no money and can't trade shit, they do look super cool in that armor, though. My goal is to get our own ogre kitted out in some proper armor. I did set it up so they could wear Empire armor, so they look like awesome mercenaries when I built that ogre mod. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. And a lot of stuff to sell in terms of textiles. It's pretty much our only source of income right now. They didn't have anything we wanted to buy, so we're just going to hoard gold for the moment. Some smoke leaves had dropped out of the sky. Rock Digger's working on turning those into doobies. I should forbid them. They're just going to cause problems if they start smoking them, but it's not that big of a deal. We need a space to cook food that's clean and nice, so we're also going to start focusing on that. And we do have a lost miner join us. However, he's a pyromaniac. And we can't have that. He does have a really fantastic weapon with him, though. So we're going to have him drop all of his crap. And we're going to send him on his way via banishment, which isn't going to make our folks happy. But I'm not going to have a pyromaniac running around here. I'm not going to do it. That's that. So we'll suffer the mood boost of 6 days at -3 for colonist banished, and that's that. Here comes the food poisoning issues and a raid as well at that point. I do like the new metals. They add some variety to the weapons and armor that folks show up with, so I think that's a cool mod. I've never tried it before, but I'm enjoying it. We're going to have Kaza grab the crossbow, and we're going to send all of our folks out. I've been having her equip... Oh, nice! Another gold statue. So there's 500 gold back in our pocket. I should use a magic point, refresh that spell, and see if we can pull it off again. But he doesn't have the magic power to do it without meditating, so it's just not worth it. We do have 2 people with food poisoning. Ogres are immune to food poisoning, so you may get a message saying they have gotten food poisoning, but really that's just letting you know you would be dealing with more troubles if you didn't have an ogre right now. So we do have to drop 1 or 2 of these guys. But we have the melee power to make it happen. Anyways, Kaza, I've been having her equip the mining pickaxe because it increases her mining speed. And she's a fantastic miner. So as a reminder, I leave that message on the right saying there's a hunter with no ranged weapon. So Gotrik takes a wound there. The other dude is going to flee pretty quick. And we'll just let him go. We don't have the capacity to be chasing these people down. So... the bruise is tended at 0% on Gotrik. I don't know why that was so piss poor. I forbade the really good medicine because I don't want it getting wasted on bruises, and all he had was a bruise. I'm not really sure how you tend to bruise, but maybe ice pack, which doesn't seem like something that can be done in the medieval times. So there's a mad muffalo about smashing through our fencing, and we shoot it once. We're going to just forbid everybody and keep them inside for a spell. Maybe our razor girl will take care of it again. They are pretty brutal creatures. We're almost at construction skill level 8, and we'll know right away when he starts building furniture. The Mad Muffalo has tamed the F out. I did shoot it with another magic arrow since it caused us some problems destroying our fences. We might as well take it down. I don't see a problem with that. So he does achieve level 8 in construction. As I said, these two are looking at the horn and smoke and doobies, and then Gotrik decides to join them. So they all have severely diminished capacities for a little while due to that. And the pirates show up, and somehow they're on top of us immediately. More than a little bit of a problem, but it's only 2 dudes. Safe to say we're going to take some wounds here. Rock Digger's not moving too quick. Actually, there's 3 of them. One of them happens to be a Skaven. I'm debating taking Skaven, but I'm not sure I will take any Skaven in this game. My Beastman game has some Skaven being collected as prisoners and forced to join. So Gotrik's got the Gleaming Arrow. We're going to try and focus on them one at a time. See if I can bring down the injured ones, but we'll see. Fortunately, Rock Digger is pretty tough, dude. The ogres generally are. He's got this tiny axe. We need to get him a legitimate weapon. He could do some serious damage. The dude at the top is using the ranged effect of that halberd and hitting us from a distance and doing some damage with it too. We are going to strip that guy for his armor because we can repair that later. It's not great armor, but it's better than nothing, and it's free. So this last guy's tied up with Rock Digger. We're going to bring him down. And I debate on capturing the guy, but he's just not very good. So why? Same for the Skaven. He's not a terrible Skaven, but in the end I decided I don't want any Skavens in my company today. Skavens? That might not be a word. Regardless, we need to get some tending done. We have lost another goat to a Tuskor, so Gotrik's going to see what he can do to bring that fool down. And we at least wound him as he's eating the baby goat. Yeah. He doesn't take any bleeding. It does slice his nose straight off. And good shot to the back. Causes him to turn around, decide he's going to attack. I like how the arrows and the shooting always makes the animals get up and take off from wherever they are. It's a good instinct to have, I suppose, for longevity. Animals seem to be about a dime a dozen in RimWorld. Although many times the pawns do as well. So regardless, we have one little Tuskor problem. I have to put another gate in this fence. Right now it's a solid fence, and that's kind of nice. It slows everybody down, but it also slows our folks down. So Gotrik's going to fire up the arrow one more time, and that's going to take the Tuskor down. The animal problems abound. Probably some kind of wall, even if it's wood in the early game, would be massively useful. We do have a doe. Gotrik took a right leg scar from that Empire halberd, and there's not a lot we can do about it. Causes mining in a spot that's rather dangerous. Being alone over there isn't ideal, but it's the only really real exposed steel, and right now it's closer to us than it's going to be later in terms of actually going over there and mining it. Once we build out a hold, that's going to be a longer walk. So I'm going to make a proper cook stove. I needed that steel to make a nice floor that is sterile. We're getting incompetent cook issues. Level 4 is not the best, and we're just going to do the best we can. There's a Tuskor hunting Rock Digger at that point, and just going inside stops the hunting, but I know when we step outside it will begin hunting us again. Fortunately, our Razorgore steps in and drops the thing. The Razorgores are pretty awesome. They are a creature of chaos. It does take a crack in the nose, but whatever. I should tame a few of those, but they're really hard to tame, and we don't have the capacity to do so. Not even sure we have the capacity to keep it tame at this point. We're going to build some shelves in the room where we're storing crap just to keep stuff secure, and we do find some open space in the back of the hold. So I'm going to have to build a door to keep our space inside. There's a little open area on the south side of that as well. We're going to see if we can't find something more, and we're going to plant more rice because the ogre eats like crazy, despite the fact that it's fall and it's getting pretty stinking cold out. Won't be long before I try to leverage this temperature to keep our food frozen as well, but there's a cold snap on at this point, and you can see it's -9 outside. That's not good. So I get a little desperate for food. We don't have the number of meals I would generally like. Our own bear goes mad at that point. Again, we don't have the capacity to tame the thing. Gotrik gets his ass kicked by it pretty stinking bad. And we don't have a gleaming arrow because we were just out shooting at a bunch of muffalo, trying to wing every member of that muffalo herd over there. And if we can do that, we will bring enough of them down naturally. We'll just let them bleed out. We don't actually have to hunt them. So Gotrik's unhappy that he had to kill his own bear. But the bear went feral and started attacking our own people. So what are we supposed to do? You can see I've winged many a muffalo here with the Gleaming Arrow spell. And we're going to see if we can't get them all. That'll give us a fat stack of meat that should last through winter. I'm a little nervous that with the cold snap and the BS that goes on, we will run out of meat or food in general since we can't grow any. And it's going to be a priority in the spring to plant a shit ton of food. We need to find more open space around. Wasn't necessarily anticipating it where I found it and so close, but our goats are running away. We have a mad muffalo problem, but it is injured. It is bleeding, and it will expire before too long. How many times am I going to have to rebuild this fence is the next good question. It's a little frustrating that a fence gate takes 25 wood, whereas a regular fence takes like 1. And I haven't done a lot of wood chopping at this point. There's a herd of muffalo down. The one that, there's one left. We're going to see if we can't wing it also. There you go. It's 10 hours. And that's going to give us some mountain of meat, people. So I shan't go hungry. It's cold inside, so we make a few more survival candles. We have a crap ton of animal fat that we can use for that, and we don't have a ton of wood to make torches with, so we're going to go that route. I make a door and hold it open to try and get the meat to freeze, but it's not that cold out anymore with the passing of the cold snap. But it's not long till winter strikes. Another day, there you go. Winter has begun. It does get into the freezing temperatures in the evening hours. We finished the research of light and heat, and that should give us the ability to build dwarven vents. So I'm going to just wall up that area where we're keeping food to keep the animals out, and we'll put some vents in, and it seems to be keeping the temperature equivalent to what it is outside, so that's fantastic. The bedrooms are nice and toasty. We're still smoothing those bedrooms. It would be nice to have another dedicated constructor, but it's just not meant to be at this point, I guess. So otherwise, everybody's doing all right. A group of pigs joined at that point, and I'm not really sure if I should keep these guys or slaughter them. They are a mated pair, so we could get piglets. Not sure how they're going to fare come winter. We don't have a barn at this point. That's kind of low priority, but our improvised freezer is working just fine. I've built some more shelves, 2 of them for textiles. Need to get the weapons put up somewhere. There's all kinds of crap. I need some kind of hospital space to speed up the healing process. And at this point, a slayer joins, or wants to join anyway. He's a veterinarian, which means he probably has good skill in terms of medical. He does have a wound. Psychically dull, nudist, iron-willed, and decent medical skill. Not great, but that's fantastic. I think we're going to take it. It's at that point they all decide to hold a party. And that's fantastic as well. So we have another bedroom to make, and that generally starts with a candle in there in order to get some light going. So we build proper furniture for our new person, and there's a lot of smoothing that needs to go down as well. So still mining that steel out there. Might as well, again, get it while we can. There's a ton of deer. There's some gazelle. I'm going to set hunting commands, but we don't really have anybody actively doing the hunting at the moment. There is a stone troll in the animal pen, which is a slight problem. It's too cold to plant crops, so we just have to figure out how to get by on meat and hope it doesn't all spoil. It's at that point that some wild cats show up, mad as hell, and Kaza starts getting her arse kicked by them. So we're going to run out to assist, but it doesn't take long before they beat her ass, and we have to flee back. We do have a gleaming arrow for whatever that's worth, so we'll see if we can take one down. And it's just killing me. It didn't even seem to go off. I'm not sure. Regardless, we have some problems here. So we do have a ton of melee strength, though, so we're going to take some wounds, but we have to get to Kaza quick. She is down and out and dying, and we can't have that. I think about doing transmutation of the unstable mind to cure the madness, but it's actually Scaria causing it, so there's not a lot we could do in that regard. So 2 of them go down really easy with the beefy dwarf and weapons. Rockdigger over here with his tiny axe is having a harder time at it. And Kaza only has 4 hours to live on the other side of the exposed map at this point. So Gotrik, being the only one that's not injured, is going to have to be the one that runs over and rescues her. Even though that third cat isn't dead yet, we have to get out of there. And it's the only way we're going to save her. So sadly, all 3 of those cats immediately rot, but we do get Kaza in a few hours to spare. We do have other injuries we have to tend to, but not a big deal. Once Kaza's safe, everybody else gets tended, and life does go on for our people. So we've come a long way in this episode. We've grown by 3 pawns, and we have some nice bedrooms at least. Not the final locations of those, but that's just fine too. There's still some ancient technology laying around we can deconstruct. There's a fair amount of steel. I'm going to carry on with trying to mine it all, so might as well clear it out. But that's pretty much going to be it for today, guys. I do appreciate you being here. I do appreciate all the comments. I'll make a note about seeing about patching baby food. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you very much for being here. We will carry on, and before too long, we need to get that Steam research done so we don't go down the same way we did before. I'll see you guys next time.